Did we create a Chris McKee Signature model? Well, maybe. This kind of feels like coming full circle. I'll tell you all about it. Stay tuned. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to look snazzy and support this channel, make sure to visit our Teespring store link below for our custom designed t-shirts. So, is this a Chris McKee Signature model? I will put my name on a post-it note and put inside the guitar if you'd like me to. But in truth, what I'm holding in my lap is a very special guitar to me and something that we have partnered with Taylor to do for you. This is a very unique, very limited Taylor 914 CE Alamo exclusive guitar. It's a limited model. So far, only 10 of these have been made, and one of them has already been spoken for. Yes, before we've even had a chance to shoot this video, a good friend of ours, Manny, who is the administrator of the Taylor Guitar Enthusiast page on Facebook, had a chance to play one of these and get one as well. So now there's 9 left, and maybe I get to keep one. We'll see. But this is a very important guitar to me. It's very special. And if you've watched this channel for any period of time, you know that I've owned a Taylor 914C for about 20 years now. And we've actually done a video on that guitar in the past, comparing it to a new 914 CE. And that guitar and I have been through a lot. In fact, I'm going to get it to show you exactly what I mean about how these compare. So, this is my Taylor 914C. They didn't have E on the 900 series back when this was built in 2000. And it is a very special guitar. We've been through a lot together. This guitar I thought was sold, and then it turned out to be available again. And then I bought it, and then I loved it, and then it was stolen, and then it was recovered, which is kind of unheard of. And I've just loved and played this guitar for a very, very long time. And this was a popular model in Taylor's lineup. I'm not the only one to really like this model of guitar. Dave Matthews, for many, many years, had, I think, a trio of Taylor 914Cs that he played. And it's been a beautiful guitar with the adornment on the top, like the abalone border around the top and the fretboard extension, and the Cindy inlay on the fretboard, which has kind of become famous and known for. But years ago, Taylor did change the 914 series. First, I think with the top wood, and then later with the inlay. And what I've always wanted to do is kind of a modern version of my guitar. And not just the inlay, we're going to talk about that, but I'd love to bring the changes that have gone in that I think are all positive changes from Taylor, and just kind of do a new version. If Taylor made this guitar today, what would it be like? And so we partnered with JR Robinson, our rep with Taylor Guitars, and he and I had talked about this a lot, what my ideas would be. And so eventually this year we made it happen, and here it is, the CMS, the Chris McKee Signature model. But what it really says is just 914 limited. So I'm going to put my guitar down. Isn't it pretty though? Beautiful honey top. This guitar will do that too over time, and I'll tell you why. So let me set this down. And we'll talk about these very beautiful, very special guitars. So it is based upon a normal 914 CE, which, if you aren't aware, sits really at the top of Taylor's lineup of models. And this series actually is the highest tier series that features East Indian rosewood for the back and sides, which, let's face it, is a fantastic wood for guitars. It's why it's used on so many higher end guitars. It features Taylor's V-Class bracing, radius armrest, the ES2 pickup system, the typical appointments with ebony bridge, fingerboard, the normal nut, and the Gotoh 510 tuners. What we've changed on it are two very fundamental things. I didn't want to change the binding because I like the ebony binding. I like the armrest, I like the headstock overlay, I love the tuners, and I really like the Gotoh purfling. Now on my older guitar, it had redwood purfling, which as far as I know is just maple that was dyed red or something, and it's pretty, but the Gotoh purfling, framing ebony and rosewood, in my opinion, is prettier. And so I definitely wanted to keep that new change on this guitar. And I love the V-Class bracing, but I wanted to get back to that original Cindy inlay, which, trivia point, we've talked about this in our top 10 video about Taylor guitars, things that you didn't know. But the Cindy inlay was actually designed by Greg Deering of Deering Banjos, that used to be right next to Taylor, and it was named after Bob Taylor's wife. So there you go. But I've loved this inlay, this motif of kind of the flowers and the leaves with the bird on it, and I think it complements this guitar. It's not too much, you know, it's kind of just enough and elegant. So that was a really important change to me because I think it evokes that era of Taylor, kind of the late 90s, early 2000s when my guitar was made. But the other part that was very important was the top. So this is V-Class braced, but this is one of the few V-Class braced guitars that features a top made of Engelmann Spruce. Now Engelmann Spruce is a fantastic species of spruce, and we've talked about this again in that video about my guitar. Back when my guitar was made, Taylor's catalog, which was an awesome catalog, like 98 to 2000, they had this wonderful red catalog that just was, when I was in college, it's what we were all looking at. It was a regular thing that came into the mailroom because all of us guitar players was in our dorms and drool over these guitars. And I'll be honest with you, when I used to kind of shop through that catalog, so to speak, to decide what I wanted, I thought I wanted an 814. And I couldn't afford that, but I figured it was less expensive than 900, and you know, it's something that was somewhat attainable. But what happened was I walked into Alamo Music one day, and you know, let me know if this has ever happened to you, and I picked up a different guitar, and then that was it. And what happened was I picked up that guitar, I strummed it one time, and I was smitten. And the real difference between the sound of the guitars had nothing to do with the inlay, although I think it's very pretty. It has nothing to do with the abalone top. It had everything to do with the top that's used for the top of the guitar, the tonewood. Engelmann Spruce is different from Sitka Spruce, and it kind of exists somewhere between spruce and cedar, closer to Sitka Spruce. It has this response to it that Bob Taylor described as being mature sounding. Somewhat aged spruce, if you will, with a beautiful roundness to the notes and this bell-like chime when you hit the high notes. I find it to be paired with rosewood just absolutely one of my favorite pairings on any guitar. But sadly, Taylor moved away from using Engelmann Spruce in its series of guitars because of availability. You know, it's a fantastic tonewood, but if you can't get any of it, or if you can't get good quality of it, it doesn't really matter how good it is. And so it's been limited to either a custom guitar run or maybe a limited series of guitars, but I don't really see it available on Taylor guitars generally. And so I kind of lamented that it had gone away. It used to be featured on a few 5 and 7 series, but mostly you would see it on the 900 series and the Presentation series guitars that Taylor made. In other words, it was reserved for the very highest end of the guitars that they made. So I'm glad to say that on this guitar, I kind of fought for it and we got it. So the big changes on this guitar from your typical 900 series is that it has the return of that beautiful Cindy inlay, but they also feature tops of beautiful silky bear claw Engelmann Spruce. Now from this guitar, you can expect to get that tone that I described. You're going to get that rich low end, all those overtones that you expect out of rosewood. You're going to get a great high end, but it's going to be this wonderful round, chimey high end out of it. It responds to a great light touch. You have no problem strumming this like you would with cedar. You have no problem strumming this like you would with redwood. You can lay into this. I mean, God knows, Dave Matthews has a pretty heavy pick attack. Look at the top of some of his guitars. And he loved these guitars, okay? So you can really dig into these guitars with a pick or play fingerstyle. I found it to be one of the very best, extremely versatile, in addition to the body shapes, that Taylor has ever produced. So I'm glad to have it here. And let's talk about bear claw, because I think it's really cool to have on here. Bear claw is a naturally occurring figuring that happens in spruce. It's not from bears actually clawing the wood. I've heard that ridiculous rumor before. That's not what it's from. It's actually genetic. It's the same thing of like whether a maple tree is curly or flamed or just plain. So some trees are going to genetically have bear claw, have this natural figuring in the wood that is almost like flame spruce, if you want to call it that. And you're going to also, as this guitar ages, get that same kind of honey color that mine has. So if you ever look at an older guitar, you can kind of determine the wood. Spruce tends to kind of brown, and Engelmann tends to kind of become that honey color from this nice pale white that it originally is. So all in all, I think these are very, very special guitars, and I'm excited that we did them, and I hope you guys agree. So there's a limited number of them, and they're a few $100s more than a 900 series, but we try to keep the cost as low as possible. If you did go to the custom shop and try to spec these out, it would cost a lot more because every single thing is an option on it. So do keep that in mind. But yes, under $6,000, you get a very special 914 CE. So I'm going to play it for you. You can get an idea of exactly how beautiful this pairing of East Indian Rosewood and Engelmann Spruce is. Check it out. So there you have it. New, inspired by old. Yeah, I'd really like to have one of these guitars. Is it too much to want to have two very similar 914s? But either way, I'm excited to have been able to do these. I think they're very special, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to do a few more in the future. You know, I don't have the notoriety to actually have a signature model, but this is about as close as I'll probably ever come, and it's a pretty cool feeling. So if you'd like more information about these guitars, you can go to our website, it's alamomusic.com, and you can see all of the information there as far as the specifications. You can also ask for photos of the guitars that we have available by chatting with someone live on the website, and they'll be able to send you examples of what we have left in stock for these guitars. I hope they all find a great home and make you guys all as happy as mine has for the last 20 years. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more. At the end of the day, the very best guitar in the world is my 914C. And I hope you find your very special guitar, because really it's the one that you're making music on. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Once again, you guys, thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more about the guitar, check out Alamo Music. Oh, Pat.
Hey everybody, I love guitar videos just like you do. But guess what? Alamo Music Center has another YouTube channel. You can check out all the piano and keyboard reviews that we have and see more of me. Cooper, do we have another one of those? He's fine.